Good afternoon. How you doing today? Well, I picked this up at the yard sale today. It's a battery-operated bug zapper, and there is no charger with it. But that's not a problem. Most likely the battery is no good and will not take a charge anyways. We're going to open it up and we're going to see if we can energize it by putting an external battery to it. I only paid $1 for this at the local indoor flea market that we go to in the school, not too far from here. So we're going to commence to opening this up now. So we'll come right back on the video and 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, the first thing I want to do here is to open up the bottom. You'll probably have to come over this way so you can see it. Now I'm not sure, there's 4 screws here, and there's several other screws here. So I'm not sure which ones to take out. I think what I'm going to do is loosen these 4. If I can. That's a spider's nest in there. I'm just loosening them. I'm not taking them out because I got to find out how this base comes off. Whether this base will all come off in one piece, or okay, it looks like the base will come off separately, but I don't want to pull out any wiring here. You got it loose here. I'm just loosening this right now. It uses one of these gel cells. Trying to avoid, trying to avoid taking too much out at once, because we may rip the wires out of the grids up here, so we be careful. Because I'm not sure exactly how these things are put together. There's a circuit board in there, I see. Alright. Okay, we got a lot of rack in the background here. I can't help it. I had to take all the screws out. I can't seem to get it out any other way. There it is.
That's pretty neat.
Okay. This is alright. This is what it is.
That's pretty cool.
Alright, now what we're going to do here. Alright, this is how you take it out, I guess. According to this, is the 4 mounting screws, so this is what you have to take out. So the rest of it, these little 6 screws all the way around the edge, I didn't really need to take that out. So what I'm going to try to do here, we're going to try to see if this battery will take a charge first before we do anything else, but we're not sure. We're not sure about this charger. We don't know whether it's positive pin or negative pin. Okay, we slid the circuit board out of place here. Sits down in here, out of the way. Now, I got 2 screws here and 2 screws here. This apparently is a 6-volt battery because it's telling you for standby charge 6.8 volts. cycle 7.25 to 7.45 volts. So it's a 6-volt battery, and I have a 6-volt battery, but it's in Dorkel, so I'm not going to take it out. But it's a good thing I opened this up, because I was going to stick a 12-volt charger on this. But I do have a 6-volt battery, I think I do, that I can try on this. But I got to pull this out. So what I'm going to do now is to take out these screws here. Alright, I'm commencing to take out these screws here. And I got to magnetize the screwdriver first with a magnet. Because getting them back in is going to be almost impossible if I don't magnetize the screwdriver. Okay. I magnetize the screwdriver, and the way to do that, of course, is very simple. You just take the screwdriver and you run it across the permanent magnet of a speaker a couple times or so, and you got a magnetized screwdriver. Simple. And then we'll just take this out here. I don't want to bend it because I can want to use it again. Put that over here with these screws. And now we just got to release this battery in here, and I hope it doesn't have double-faced tape on the other side holding it. And it is a 6-volt 4 amp hour battery, 4.5 amp hour battery, 6-volt. It's a good thing I opened this up, because I would have put 12 volts in here, and the polarity's not marked whether it's center pin positive or center pin negative. So, and I can't get a meter in there, it's way too thin, too small. The opening is way too small. So we're going to do this off camera. I'm probably out of focus anyways. And what I want to do is try to get this, to see if this works at all. And there's got to be a step-up transformer in here. I haven't seen it yet, to give the high voltage. So it must be in here, but I only see a fluorescent light, which means the step-up transformer is probably up in here. So, because these wires here aren't heavy enough to carry the 4,000 to 5,000 or even 6,000 volts. So this is probably the primary wires. This is the light wire, the fluorescent light, and the transformer must be up in here. I want to find out if this is going to work at all. I won't know until I can get at this battery and try to get 6 volts in replace of this battery here. If I had my shop, I'd have the 6-volt power supply, but I don't, so we're going to have to jury-rig something here, and I hope I got something to jury-rig it with. And I found this battery was stuck on my shelf in my shed. I don't know what the hell happened to this. I'm reading 6.22 volts. I've had this battery for many years, and I always keep it periodically charged all the time, but I don't know. But I'm going to try to connect it up to this harness here and see if I can get anything out of it. Okay, I got this battery in here. Oh, we're getting a blue light in there. Let's see. Yep. Well, she's zapping. She's a zapping. I can't hold the meter on and hold the camera at the same time, but I just put a meter on it now with this unit off at 6.25 volts. So this is pretty close to, it's down a little bit on charge, but I don't know what happened to this thing up here. I don't know, it was sitting on my shelf and all this sticky stuff here. Maybe the battery's leaking, or maybe something got into it. Alright, I taped up the bottom of this battery. I don't know what happened. I looked up on the shelf, nothing spilled over, so somehow the stuff is leaking out of there. I don't know, but the battery seems to have some life to it, so it just needs to be charged. I'm charging up the battery over here that was in here, and I don't think it's taking a charge too good. Now the battery's only 3 volts now after being left off the charger for a short while. This is too long to go in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything back together. Now I've got a 6-volt battery. Like I say, it's in Uncle Dorkle for the eyes, the 6-volt eye motor. I ain't taking it out of Uncle Dorkle, and Uncle Dorkle would protest if I ever did that. How would you like to have your eye motor removed? I don't think you'd like that either. Okay. In all seriousness now, we're going to put this back together. I don't know what the polarity of this is because this wire runs up in here, so I have no idea whether it's center positive or whatever. And these boards are designed for 6 volts, so we can't charge this with anything more than 6. The only problem is I don't know what the polarity is on this. What I think, and I don't have a plug that'll go in here. I don't have a plug that'll go in there. It takes a Mongol size, one of those with the pin in the shell, but it's an oddball size. So I'm going to cut these wires, let them stick through out here. I think that's what I might do. I think what I'm going to do is to take this right off, cut this off, tape it up, and use the hole here to power an external battery. In other words, these leads here will go directly to an external battery. It's not as nice, but it's the only thing I can do right now because I don't have a smaller 6-volt battery. I guess I could put 4 C cells in here, 4 AA's rather, but I don't know. The current would be too much draw on them because there's a fluorescent light in here too. So, yeah, I don't want to get started on a lot of projects. I got the van I got to finish, but I don't have much time to do that today. We'll put the switch, the power switch, back in. Tell you, it helps to magnetize these screwdrivers, boy, I'll tell you. Okay, that time she took. First one went in good. Okay, and the little LED right here. Okay, now what I got to do, alright, I insulated these 2 wires where the charging port was and bent them over and taped them up. We're not using that. We're going to take these 2, we're going to cut these connectors off. We're going to bring these red and black wires out on extensions through this charging port hole here. And then we'll put the circuit board back in place, or it can be just laying down in here because there's nothing else here to hold it against. It was slit between the battery and the side, but I'm not going to be putting the battery in here. Okay, we'll come back on the video in a minute. Alright, this is where the power, these 2 leads are going to come out after not this, these 2 here. These 2, which originally went to the battery, are going to come out here. And this will be just tucked inside. There's no, this board was stuck in here, I think, over here, but it serves no point to the outside. In other words, this one has a switch on it, this one has some kind of a clock or something, I don't know. So that is there, this is here, and there is no point in putting this anywhere but right down here. So we got these 2 nasty double-phase tape that gave me so much trouble with the other battery. It stuck to it. I'm just going to take the double-phase tape and I'm going to just fasten this down to the bottom like that. Just like that. That'll keep it from rattling around. I don't need to fight with a battery in here. The base will be light and it might fall over. If it does, I will drill a couple of holes here, put a piece of plywood underneath it, and make a bigger, wider base. But this thing isn't really that heavy. So I don't think it'll fall over. And we'll just have the wires coming out. I got this battery on charge on 6 volts, but I can tell you right now it's no good. But we're going to let it go overnight. If it does recover, I can use this in addition to the other one for an external battery. And you know, I can even put a base on that thing and mount the battery to the base. In other words, if I put a piece of plywood under here and I can have the battery sitting like this, I wonder if this clamp will work on that one. Yeah. It's a little bit narrower. The other battery fit tighter in there, but I can have a clamp in there, or it don't really matter. Or I could make a base and put that up underneath, and it'll be higher. Sit higher and put it up underneath of the plywood. I'm not worried about that right now. I just want to get these wires run to the outside with these clips to the outside so that I can put it onto the battery. And then when I need to charge a battery, just bring it in the shed, take the battery off and bring it in the shed and charge it. Alright, and I'm doing, this is all the negative side here. Alright, there was 2 blacks and a blue, and 2 blacks and a blue here, and we're not going to deal with the crimp-ons and stuff like that. We're just going to strip this down, and we're going to add this to it, and then we got heat shrink. I only got black and white. Well, the black is way too big, so I may have to use white on it. I'll see. I either got too big or too small. A lot of this stuff I got rid of when I closed my shop, so I'm very, very limited in what I can work with here, and I can't see what gauge this is. I can't see what gauge that is. Certainly don't want to cut it off, because then I'll be screwed. Make use of all 3 of these contacts, even though they all go to the common point, because the wires are thin and one could break. Alright, now we just twist those together. Now this is the negative, so what we have to do here, we gotta make sure we can get, we gotta get the wires through there too, so we're probably somewhere up on the 18 gauge here. Alright, let's see. I think that's too small. Well, we may have to use this. We may have to use this. And we're not going to bother soldering it.
It'll probably stay together better if you solder it.
It will, you're right. But we're not going to do that because that's more time. We're very limited on time today. Very limited on time. And this is a project that I didn't expect to be doing because it was a yard sale find. Yard sale find. Alright. I used to have a heat gun for this thing and everything else. All that stuff's gone. This piece of heat shrink is a little too big for this. Okay. We gotta make sure we push it through here. Alright, because we don't want to mess it up here. Now we gotta put this together. And all right, I don't like using red, but red is bigger, but it's inside, you're not going to see it. Not going to see it anyways. I have to use what I got, you know. I'm very limited in materials here. Like everything else, very limited in materials. Alright, we cut that off. Bend that over. Flatten it out. It's very hard because I can't see good. Alright. Now I try to get that in there. Okay. Now, it's hard to use this thing because the wind keeps blowing it out. You get a little breeze. I used to have a heat gun to do this. I no longer. Now this one's working good. Okay. We don't go too crazy with it. Alright, so now we got the negative, which 2 blacks and a blue. Alright, now on the positive we just got a simple 2 reds. So, strip that. I can't see this. I have to go by feel on this. I can't, even with the reading glasses. I can't see what gauge that cutting
Don't want
at.
to get too close here.
Yeah, you can't get too close. I'm estimating this to be about 22 or 24. Good. I just don't want to strip that out, cut the wire off, in other words. I have to be very careful not to. I have to be even more careful on this end because if I pull these wires out of the switches, I'm not going to be able to get it back together again. So now, we take the red wire. I'm going to start with a new cut here. With a new cut. And we can add this afterwards.
B is gone now.
Oh, that's good.
I don't see it anymore.
All right. Let's see if we can get it over the hump here. Yeah. Now, there's the hump right there. All right, we're gonna do our thing. Damn thing keeps going out.
Beautiful day out today.
It is, except any little breeze knocks this thing right out. Keep starting this thing, it keeps going out on me. Oh, I guess it's all right. All right, put that through here. All right, now we got 2 red wires. And I got to be very careful I don't pull on these when I strip them and rip them off the PC board, because if I do that, I might as well throw this thing in the trash, because that small soldering stuff, my soldering days are over for seeing small things. Okay, I got that. And this one's on the switch, and I gotta be careful I don't pull that off. Okay. Put these together. Alright. A little heat shrink down here. And strip this. here. Put this on here. This over here. Slide this up here.
8 minutes.
Slide this over here. And fart with that damn crappy lighter. Can't turn it around like you're supposed to rotate this. I can't do that. Alright, what I am doing now, making a kind of like a strain relief. Can't see the damn hole here. Alright. Not the best of work, but it just helps, and the battery will go on here. Now, let's see if this thing will work before we do anything else, and we'll just close her up, and that'll be the end of the video.
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to turn the switch on now. Oh, the switch is on.
Wow.
Alright, if you look in here, the blue light's on. And if you listen
You can hear a zap.
carefully, put the camera over here so we can show the folks here.
Oh yeah. Works well.
Alright, the mosquitoes will love us. But I'm going to put this together. That's it for today. That's all the time I got. We got everything fixed up. We got tape in here just to hold the wires moving. I'm going to finish up a little bit in here off camera and put this together. And we got ourselves a battery operated zapper. We don't worry about charging it in here. We'll just charge it in the shed and put the battery on it. And I may make a base for that, but that's a later date. Thanks for watching, folks.